Think I don't need to go up. Anyway, what's up, y'all? Sorry I'm late. I was supposed to do this like a few hours ago, but I was busy trying to figure out how I'm gonna title this because the original thing was gonna be like interesting is to happen at the Mets alumni classic. But then I'm like, oh yeah, said on the lean show I had to talk about this year's current Mets and their series against the Texas Rangers, then talk a little bit about that Giants game against the Cowboys. So I would like to work in reverse real quick. Just get the Giants out the way. Just get the Giants out the way. I mean, this is a team that is like it's like they know how to, you know what I'm saying? Just find new ways to lose. And it's really not a new way to lose because I've seen this Giant game before where they like defy the odds and show that they're not a full-on trash team, only to prove because of the mistakes they make to make them be that full-on trash team, if you get my drift. You know, and I always over-expect. I always overthink it when it comes to my like predictions for the team. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, they're gonna be 2-15 rather than 3-14 last year. They're not gonna win. They're gonna go 0-17. No, I'm not doing that. They're gonna win some games. But I always overthink it in the beginning of the season. Nah, they might just squeak it out. They should have squeaked it out yesterday. You know, they should have squeaked it out yesterday against Cowboys. And that's real. Sorry, but that's how I feel. You know? But as it is, that's one thing I wanted to add to what I should have said on the show. It's like, I mean, the nice little bar I said on there. If you didn't see it, watch it. It's funny. But yeah, I dropped that earlier today. But I really wanted to expound on that because it's like I've seen this game before where it's like the insert quarterback here had a great performance. Mostly it was Eli, but it was like they had great performances where it's like, in this case, Russell Wilson, he cooked. You know what I'm saying? 450 yards. But I've seen those Giants games before where it's like there's a 450-yard throwing quarterback, two receivers with 140-something yard receiving and better. Even the third stringer, even the third wide, had about 80-something yards. But then, it's a stupid ass penalty or a late pick or an old lineman that just couldn't keep his hands off the defensive player like he was playing grab ass with him. I'll talk more about that later though. I got a Giants live coming later, but just wanted to talk a little bit about that. And while we're in the subject of working backwards, this current Mets team, 8-game losing streak. Oh yeah, they won yesterday, but 8-game losing streak at the wrong exact time. They went from division threats to backing into a effing wild card. Because this is what they're doing. They're gonna back in. If they back in, because we still have San Diego, who's over us in a wild card race, who's above us. And we got Washington, who you think they're gonna back down and be like, nah, we're gonna play them hard, we're gonna, you know what I'm saying, we're gonna Miami Marlins them. And speaking of Miami, we're in the season in Miami. Because the last homestand of the year is the Padres and the Nationals, and then we're on the road to Chicago and Miami. And I think the only wins we're gonna get is when Nolan McLean and Sproat and Tongs on the mound. I don't have no faith in this starting pitcher at all. The veterans and kick the hell out of rocks. For real. But that's just a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Because we know what happened. We know what happened. They got ran out of Philly after losing 2 out of 3 in Cincinnati. I'm backtracking a little bit. They go to Philly. They ran out of there. Texas, they beat us up with Jacob DeGrom on the mound. And then Ed Luz blows the save on Saturday. And then Reed Garrett coughs up and more inherited runs to score on Sunday. Thank God Pete Alonso walked it off with a 3-run homer. Now we sit here tonight. They're off today, a game and a half up for the third wild card. But now let's talk. Now let's get happy. Now here's why I titled this. All right, check it out. The Mets Alumni Classic, aka Old Timers Day, with the last decade at Shea versus the first decade at City Fields, or like something like that. Last 5 years or some stuff, or I think it was the last 5 years. But that didn't make any sense because no, it was the last decade. I guarantee it was last decade. Last decade at Shea versus the first decade at City Field. I should have put some bullet points in this, but yo, I just wanted to go top of the head because it was just so funny. Just so funny. And it's like, yo, it was so much nostalgia there. And, you know, Shea, basically, you know, you have stars like Shea, you know what I'm saying? And some of them crossed over to City Field. You know? Like you have players like, obviously, Mike Piazza, Al Leiter, you know, Paul Duca. I don't know if I saw Cliff Floyd on there, because like I said, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't watch the whole game, but I did see what I wanted to see. This is why I put it on. That's why I try to give it to you live right now. Because if you read the title, the Mets Alumni Classic, the greatest edition of Saturday night's main event ever. Because there was the part of the show, and this is what I'm gonna harp on, that made that made the Mets Old Timers Day go full on WWE from the nostalgia. You ever watch those Raws where they turn back the clock? You know what I'm saying? Raw Homecoming, where it's like the old heads come back and then they reenact their characters and then have a bunch of callbacks to like past years, like years past with certain episodes. You know what I'm saying? You have stuff like, you know what I'm saying, Boogeyman coming back. You know what I'm saying? You have like Jake the Snake come out. You know what I'm saying? You know you're old head now, so but it's like he comes out with you know what I'm saying, the old school roles and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? You remember Mae Young when she, God bless her soul, when she came back. When we remember the episode, she had a hand. She gave birth to a hand, and then she came back years later, and the hand is an adult now. So just like stuff like that. Well, fast forward, September 13th, 2025. The venue, City Field. The event, Mets Alumni Classic. Now, during the players and like managers intros, it's like if you were to see like go past the Steve Gelb's interviews, and then Gary Cohen and Howie Rose commentated with a hot mic, so everybody so all the fans could hear them call a game. But something strange came up because it's like in any game, whether it's like current games, like old timers day, you know what I'm saying? You would have like one manager come out, per team, things of that nature. Now I'm noticing during the intros, I'm looking at Bobby Valentine and Willie Randolph on the Shade team, and I'm seeing Terry Collins and I forget who was managing the or Jerry Man. Was it Jerry Manuel? I think it was Jerry Manuel because he was on in '09. But anyway, I'm looking at him like, yo, why? Why are both teams coming out with two managers? Why is there two managers on each team? Left it alone, right? But then you go to the game. It actually started. There's only 2.5 minutes in the game, but it's like I'm like, why is there two managers? So fast forward, the game's starting, and then all of a sudden, we ain't get far enough in the first inning. Bobby Valentine comes out arguing balls and strike. Why are you arguing? It's an old timers game. Why are you arguing? So the umpires throw Bobby Valentine out of the game. I'm like, come on, man. What's going on here? And it's like, why are they hamming it up? Until I realized, out comes Bobby Valentine. When the later on in the, when the top of the next inning comes out, he comes out in a goddamn disguise. Now, I'll explain it in full to y'all. But if you're a Met fan and you watching this on the playback, you know. But if you don't know, I won't even say you should know because you're not a fan. I'll explain it to you. In the 1999 National League Championship Series between the New York Mets and the Atlanta Braves, Bobby Valentine was the manager of that 99 team. He was ejected. He was hot-headed, calling for, I guess it was balls. Yeah, I think it was balls and strikes. So the umpire ran his ass out of the game. And I think this was actually in the game. I think it might have been the Grand Slam single game, truth be told, by Robert Ventura. But he comes out. He pops out of the Shea Stadium dugout, like on the corner. Cameras with full view. In like one of those Marx Brothers disguises. With the glasses, fake nose, and mustache. Bobby Valentine was clean shaven at the time. But it's like, yo, that bugged me. I was like, cameras panned in on him is like the whole nation saw him, the world saw him. And he actually got heat for that. He got suspended for that. Because when you get thrown out of the game, you gotta hit the showers. You cannot be in view of you can't be anywhere in the dugout. So he does the same shtick during the Alumni Classic. I'm like, yo, this is like WWE nostalgia. This is a callback. Interesting callback by the Mets. So now I'm just bugging. You know what I'm saying? And it was not a drink with me moment because I wasn't drinking. But it's like, yo, this was crazy. It was borderline genius. Because that kind of, you know what I'm saying, that had the fans happy. And in the midst of what was a 7-game losing streak at the time for the current team, the audience needed, you know what I'm saying, the crowd needed that. So, not to be outdone, going to the bottom of the inning, it was a close play at first base, right? One of the City Field Mets was called out on a close play on a ground ball. Why the hell did Terry Collins pop his ass out of the dugout? So he could do one of his famous callbacks to where now this one was kind of different because while Bobby Valentine reenacted his obvious callback. Now the Terry Collins thing was a callback too, but my thing was Terry Collins wasn't arguing the same thing that he argued back then. He argued a bang bang out call. And if you don't know this, I will explain that too. Years ago, I forget what year, but Terry Collins came out and he was audible because the cameras panned in on him and it must have been a hot mic. Now he was complaining about why were, because it's like the Mets was felt like they was getting thrown at all series. Forget the game, all series. I forget what series it was, but it's like another Met got hit, and then umpires issued warnings for both teams. And then Terry Collins got pissed off and ran up the dugout. Was like, why are you issuing warnings? You know what I'm saying? Dude, like, my man was in a jackpot. Why don't you give us an effing shot? Why don't you give us an effing shot? And then he was relentless. He was not going to go back in the dugout. Even though they were trying to reason with Terry, go back in the dugout. Terry, go back in the dugout. No, you got to give us an effing shot. So the umpires finally ran him. It was like, yo, you're getting tired. You delaying the damn game. Get the out of here. So, fast forward to the Alumni Classic. And then it's like, again, different circumstances, different call, plus it's no time to game anyway. So Terry, now he kept it clean on this one. So everybody, it's like, yo, this is what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna do. So this is like, yo, this whole thing was predetermined. This is what I'm trying to say. So Terry comes out, he's arguing to the umpires. It's like, yo, my man was in the jackpot. You need to give us a shot. He didn't say half a shot. He's like, you need to give us a shot. Of course, they ran him out the game. I'm like, yo, listen. The only thing that couldn't happen was the full 3 innings because of antics like these. I'm like, yo, we could have they had to deem it a tie because of time constraints. Yeah, I wonder why. I mean, it cracked me up, y'all. It really cracked me up. I'm just like, yo, predetermined baseball game. Who'd have thunk it? The result, this whole thing was a WWE storyline. This is why I called the Mets Alumni Classic the greatest edition of Saturday Night's main event ever, because this whole joint was predetermined. This was scripted, y'all. For real. The Mets Alumni Classic. This was the most scripted baseball game I ever seen. It's probably the only scripted baseball game I ever seen. In a non-conspiracy theorist sort of way. I'm like, yo, I was worked. I'm like, yo, did the Mets work the baseball fans here? I couldn't believe it. And I'm going to watch it again. If you haven't seen the Mets Alumni Classic, whether baseball fan or non-baseball fan, I implore y'all to watch this game, because it was nothing but comedy. It was nothing but comedy. Old timers day games are comedies anyway, no matter what kind of fan you are, what team you root for. Because I used to watch Yankees joints, and I'm like, yo, that used to be hilarious. But this one here takes the cake. The Mets Alumni Classic. Can we do this every year? Uncle Stevie, Uncle Stevie, Uncle Lean here. Can you do this every year? Maybe not so many callbacks, but can you do this every year? For real. Get these old heads up and bring them back every year. Because this was highly entertaining. It was very exciting. For real. Like I said, y'all, I implore y'all to really watch this. For real. Y'all need to see that. Y'all really do. For real. I'm so serious when I tell y'all that. For real, for real. That was just so exciting. And finally I got this up. And I'm about to go. But anyway, if y'all want it, if y'all want to drop something, you know, like something like what I just dropped for y'all, that was really like a takeaway from what I usually do. And on a serious note, if you want to do this, do that. For real. But yeah, that was highly entertaining. Hopefully, the rest of this baseball season with the current Mets will be as entertaining. Won't be entertaining as the Alumni Classic. That's the single greatest highlight of the year. You know what I'm saying? The only way the current Mets trump this is if they win it all. Don't back into the playoffs and just back it in. Back your way into the playoffs and win the whole goddamn thing. Man, but 23 minutes is enough. I took up enough of your time. But if you're watching the playback, and even for the one person who peeked in and watched it live, watch that game, man. I'm about to watch it. So you can say, go put myself through it, put yourself through it too. Damn it. But yeah. I'm still at 23. I'm still Jordan trying to be Kobe, but it is what it is. You know? On the Mets terms, I'm D. Pete. I'm David Peterson trying to be Willie Mays. Because ain't nobody wearing number 24 no more in the Mets. But, yeah. Yo, watch the Lean Show, today's Lean Show, and watch tomorrow. I'm going to be on there. I guess the next time I go live will be Thursday afternoon. After the Mets do their thing against San Diego Padres. So, yeah, man. And then my StreamYard time will be reloaded, so around that time. So yeah, if I come impromptu, you'll know. But you know, enjoy the rest of your Monday night, and I'll holler at y'all Thursday. Tuesday.